Good evening and thank you for joining us. Husky Energy is taking Lloydminster healthcare to new heights. The oil giant is contributing land for the construction of a STARS helipad right across from the local hospital. As Michaela Henschel reports, the donation could be the difference between life and death.
The Lloydminster Hospital serves over 70,000 people. With no current helipad, all patient transfers happen on the ground or through fixed-wing air from the Lloydminster Airport, which is located 10 kilometers from the hospital. The new landing pad will drastically cut down on response time.
When we talk about the golden hour of trauma in particular, it could make the difference between living and dying. So it's not a small thing, it's a gigantic thing.
So having a helipad here is one of the ways we can enhance an existing service to ensure that not just residents but those first responders that also help us with the landing zones for helicopters aren't putting themselves at risk, because we have a ready-made world-class helipad for the helicopters to land on right here next to the facility.
The proximity of the helipad will allow ground ambulances to stay in the community for coverage, as well as connect Lloydminster to surrounding areas. Husky Energy Heavy Oil Vice President says the company's contribution is an investment for them as well.
We live in Lloyd. There are 1,000 employees that live in the Lloyd area, and as such, we're part of the community.
On top of the land and financial support from Husky, the Lloydminster Rotary Club has contributed to the $350,000 project.
To have a community partner like Husky Oil and the Rotary and the Foundation come together and do so much work and due diligence to make this happen is truly, the people should be very proud of that in this community and proud of their neighbors.
It's a community project. It impacts all sorts of organizations, obviously the hospital, but also search and rescue, fire department, all the rest of it.
The Lloydminster Region Health Foundation will be fundraising for the remaining costs. Construction is expected to be completed by spring 2019. Michaela Henschel, Newcap News.
And 2 programs at Lakeland College have a new place to call home thanks to the largest philanthropic gift in their history. Lakeland College's Energy Park site has officially opened. Students of the Street Rod Technologies and Truck Driver Training programs now have new facilities to learn their trade.
Just a bigger facility, better lighting. We've been able to set the building up exactly the way we want it.
These buildings and the land they're on make up the largest donation to the college in its 104-year history. The $2.7 million gift from a private donor will help ensure aspiring drivers receive high-quality training.
So we've got a steady drive of drivers. And then now that incident in Humboldt kind of happened, kind of brings light on the fact that we need these professional drivers.
For Street Rod Technology students, this 12,000 square foot building provides them with all the tools they need.
We're very fortunate to have a cross-draft spray booth, a downdraft spray booth, a mixing room, sandblasting area. So it's a great place to participate.
The donation will ensure students have many options upon graduation.
From here, participants could head into the auto body field, automotive, welding, or work in a restoration shop. So I've always been interested in it, and we'll see. It may be maybe my third career, or at the very least, a great retirement gig.
This is Newcap weather.
Well, it's like someone rang the bell and Mother Nature and Old Man Winter, they finally got the memo. I tell you what, spring is sprung. And if you haven't been outdoors to enjoy this, okay, let the cast finish first. Stay and watch us a little bit more, and then you can go outside there. 11 at the moment. Now, mind you, we were at -2 overnight, and even just around 8, 9 o'clock this morning, we jumped from 0 to +2, and we're finishing off the day at 11. 13 in Cold Lake, and 9 in the Battlefords. They were down from 10 earlier on. So lots of sunshine, lots of melt going on. The wind speeds at times with the gusts approaching maybe 31, 32 kilometers per hour. 10 in Edmonton, 12 in Lac La Biche, couple 10s for Bonnyville, St. Paul, 12 is for Vegreville, 10 in Wainwright, 12 Provost and Macklin, a string of 10s there as well for Pierceland, Isle Across, Green Lake, 12 in Meadow Lake, 9 in St. Walburg, so it's pushing up there, and 9 as well for North Battleford areas there too. As we look to the south, 15 in Lethbridge, 16 in Medicine Hat, 13 in Kindersley, and 7 in Regina, 12 as well in Swift Current, and 11 in Moose Jaw there. We'll bring more details. We're eyeing the weekend in particular because there's rain, as we've been hinting, but it's more the wind, and it could gust around there, especially on the overnights into Sunday morning, Saturday into Sunday there. So we'll bring more details on that later in the show.
Well, Marshall School held their own Aboriginal Day today, where students learned about culture and reconciliation. Kids from kindergarten to grade 6 took part in many activities throughout the day, including bannock making, Indigenous games, and watching presentations.
Today is Aboriginal Day here in Marshall, Saskatchewan, and I got invited to be a guest speaker, come share some TP teaching, some storytelling, some songs, and some dance with the students here.
Morin resides in Saskatoon and teaches at the University of Saskatchewan. He presented students with personal-made videos and storytelling about his young life and what made him the person he is today.
It's very important. It's part of reconciliation. It's part of bridging cultures and breaking stereotypes, and just helping create a better narrative of Saskatchewan, right?
Just to create those positive relationships and hopefully kind of challenge some of those stereotypical and biased views that people have, and to have that foundational knowledge. Hopefully they can talk and interact with people and just create strong relationships.
This is Marshall School's second year celebrating Indigenous culture in this way.
They're certainly eager to learn, and they've tried some different things, and they're quite engaged, so I think they're enjoying it.
Well, initiatives to raise mental health awareness are increasing, and with it, our efforts to stop bullying, particularly online. While policing the whole internet is an impossible task, there's plenty parents can do at home. Josh Ryan has more in this week's Healthy Living.
Tackling the issue of bullying in schools has become increasingly complicated as most of the insults, harassment, and threats now occur online.
Bullying today and the things that the kids deal with today are different than like when I grew up. So I think as parents, you need to be proactive.
Brian Traynor, a former Saskatoon police sergeant, gives lectures on cyberbullying for parents and students, trying to deal with the anonymity the internet allows.
You don't know me. You don't know each other. You don't know your best friend. You don't know what goes on in people's heads or behind closed doors. And yet you make assumptions.
The starting point, Traynor says, is clear and constant communication in the home.
I think it really comes down to being able to communicate with your kids and building a trust with your kids that, hey, you can come and talk to me. I'm going to give you some rope, and I want you to prove that you're trustworthy.
Part of that trust is establishing your role as the parent and teaching the importance of behaving online the way you would face-to-face.
You're not their friend, you're not their buddy, you're not their pal. You're the parents. Set the parameters, set the rules, set the limits, and be concise.
The second step is to learn about the different social media apps kids and teens are using, mostly on their phones, and the interactions they have, particularly in the types of hashtags used.
Look at the hashtags. What are those hashtag words? What are they saying? It gives you an insight into what their psyche is, what their mind is right at the moment.
Parents struggle to monitor their kids' online interactions, but Traynor stresses that they should take ownership of, on average, being the provider of their children's devices.
You pay for the bill as the parent, so you have every right to be aware and take possession of the phone from your kid.
You got to remember, you gave them that cell phone. You wouldn't give them the keys to your truck and say, go down to the store and get some milk.
Much of the abuse teens are exposed to online is extreme, and in many cases, Traynor says people have to remember there can be criminal consequences to that behavior.
If your kids are threatened, if they're harassed, if they're stalked, the Mounties need to be approached and told, this is happening, this is a criminal offense, I need something done here.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, many junior hockey teams across the country are working hard preparing for September. This means finding and signing players, holding tryout camps, and securing sponsorships. The Lloydminster Junior B Bandits held a press conference Wednesday to announce their newest signing. Lance Phillips with more.
The Bandits' biggest off-season move took place Wednesday when the team announced at a press conference Ryan Early has been promoted to the position of head coach and general manager.
Big step, but the 2 years that I got under Brad immensely helped. It was very easy to learn from Brad, and that isn't going to change. I love the systems that we have in place. It's a great stepping stone, so hopefully I can move forward with it. And like Greg said, win a championship.
Previously, the team's assistant coach Early takes over for Brad Cruikshank, who spent 2 years with the team. Cruikshank has a family with his wife and 4 children, and ultimately the Bandits' commitment became too much.
He's trying to spend time with his kids and trying to coach them and be there, and it's difficult when you have a demanding schedule like ours to be at a lot of different places at once. So, Brad put his heart and soul in this club for the last 2 years, and he will be missed, but the great thing about it, right alongside Brad for the last 2 years, has been Ryan.
With Early taking on the role of general manager, the shuffle continues with Greg Buchanan, previously the team's GM, moving into a different role.
I'm no longer general manager. I went into a role as a vice president and kind of overseeing hockey operations, but also kind of helping out that behind the scenes with the club right now and establishing new board of directors, which is very important at this time of our franchise.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.